Oh, it just feels right, doesn't it? Here's Andy Reid carrying some precious cargo off the team plane as the Super Bowl champion Chiefs bring the Lombardi Trophy to Kansas City. More on this all day long. This is Good Morning Football. We are live back in New York, back at our good old breakfast table on this Tuesday, February 4th. My name's Kay, Nate Burleson, Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, the whole squad right back here. How we feeling?
Back in action, Kay. Back like we never left.
Fantastic.
As I like to say.
Left. That's pretty cool footage, huh?
Yeah, it's amazing. I got a text from someone in the Chiefs organization. They were on the plane, and the Lombardi Trophy was in its own chair, its own seat in the plane. So imagine just a typical United flight, which that was, or Delta, or whatever it is, and it's a Lombardi Trophy in like seat 1C. You know, like
I bet it had platinum status.
It did. It had some status, for sure. But
hopefully some of these guys will get a nap in. They've got a big parade on Wednesday, of course, there in Kansas City.
Oh, there ain't no sleeping, Kay.
Yeah, it's been partying the whole time.
They're going to be lit. Pull an all-nighter.
Okay.
Yeah, at GMFB, we did not pull an all-nighter. We got here last night. We slept, and we are here for you this morning. Thanks for picking us, and here's the lead block.
It's the lead block.
Yeah, let's start with the quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. After winning the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP, he was asked if he feels comfortable being referred to as the face of the NFL, and here's what he had to say.
I mean, there's several guys that can be the face of the NFL. I mean, I think that's just with the NFL and how good the play is, the quarterback play. I mean, guys can come in year and year out and go out there and play great football. I mean, Lamar was the unanimous MVP last night, and he had one of the best seasons of all time as a quarterback position. And so there's guys like that, it seems like every single year. A lot of young quarterbacks, still a lot of veteran guys that are playing at a very high level. And so I just try to be the best Patrick Mahomes I can be and try to win football games with the guys I have around me.
Mahomes is the number one guy in multiple passing categories in NFL history, including the playoffs. Plus, now he has a league MVP and a Super Bowl MVP on his resume. Mahomes was very modest, of course, when discussing himself as the face of the league. Is it a fair question? Is it a fair claim to make? And what other quarterback could maybe challenge him as the face?
I think it's a very fair claim to make. You got to understand that I think before Sunday, there were millions of people in the world who had never seen Patrick Mahomes. Never. They didn't know who he was.
You think so?
Absolutely. I think the Super Bowl is the difference.
I
think there's a ton, millions of Americans who watch football one day a year. That's it. I think there were people at Disney World yesterday with selfie sticks taking pictures of him who had never seen him before. It's the Super Bowl and everything else. For people who aren't like us, who aren't in the trenches, I think you took a huge jump there. Massive. So I think, yes, Mahomes now wakes up this morning. I think he is the face of the NFL. The only rival is Tom Brady. And he's been the face for years. He's played in so many Super Bowls, so everybody knows him. It's a test. It's not about stats. It's not about MVPs. I always say, my Aunt Patty living in Kansas, when she turns on Jimmy Fallon and there's a football player on the couch, does she know who that is? She didn't know who Patrick Mahomes was a couple of years ago if she wasn't from Kansas. Now she does. I think he is the face, and I think he'll only build on that, depending on what happens with this guy.
Yeah, of course, he can be the face, and he should be the face right now. I do feel like Tom Brady is going to return back to New England, but let's just say in the off chance that he doesn't. Now, all of a sudden, the AFC is Pat Mahomes and Pat Mahomes alone. But there still are a couple of guys. He mentioned Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
But I would say Russell Wilson. Let's not forget about what Russell Wilson has done in 8 years of football. He has never missed a game. He's been at 2 Super Bowls. And listen, if his running backs didn't get hurt at the end of this season, who knows what they would have done in the NFC. For me, Russell Wilson is the definition of consistency. And with a few more pieces, he'll find himself right back in the playoffs and possibly a chance to go to a 3rd Super Bowl within a decade. Think about that for a second. If Russell Wilson finds it in himself to lead his team to a Super Bowl within a couple of years, that's 3 Super Bowl appearances in a decade. So you can't look at him and say, oh, he's not the face, because he still is young. I think he had so much success early. We put him in the category where the older guys are. He's not in the Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Tom Brady category. He is the bridge quarterback between Lamar Jackson, Pat Mahomes, and Tom Brady. Russell Wilson is sandwiched right in the middle and has had success while doing it. So don't forget about Russ.
Strong brand, too.
Really strong brand, and he's everywhere, and he's obviously the highest paid player in football, so that helps, too. There's a guy named Michael Mulvihill who does all of the research ratings analysis for Fox. He had a tweet yesterday that said 148 million people watch a Super Bowl on Sunday in America. 148 million. 126 million people voted. So if you think about it that way, more people watch the Super Bowl than vote for our president.
Shame.
Wow.
So you think about it just from a football standpoint, and just exposure-wise, Mahomes is the guy. What's fascinating about Mahomes, though, he was 16-21 as a college football starter.
Yeah.
16-21. So The story of Mahomes is amazing because this wasn't necessarily supposed to happen. Russell Wilson was a third-round pick. Lamar Jackson was the 32nd overall pick. In other sports, LeBron James, we knew since middle school, was going to be the guy who was the first overall pick. He went. Kobe Bryant, goes from high school to the NBA, has this great thing. Shaq is 7'3", is going to just not. That's the beauty of the NFL. You don't know who's going to end up being the face.
Right.
So Mahomes, who was playing on Fox Sports 1 for Texas Tech versus, Oklahoma State and losing 75-65 in college, 3 years later can be the face of the NFL. That is what's so beautiful, and that is why I'm not saying for the next decade he's going to be the face, because you never know where it's coming from. I'll throw my hat in the ring. Obviously, you know about Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson, and this year we had some breakout performances from guys who didn't play quarterback that I think might someday be. Christian McCaffrey could be the faces. Kyler Murray is going to be a second-year quarterback. He won NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. Yeah. He's another young face. Like, the list is wide open and it lasts forever. And the fact that Lamar in year 2 came from literally out of nowhere. I mean, Lamar should not have been to be the unanimous MVP. Tells me I will never put my pen in print or in ink saying this guy's the face for the next decade. Someone else is coming. They always are.
I agree. I think just Kyler's 1 year behind Lamar Jackson, right? Or even a couple of years. So I feel like it's Lamar Jackson. Patrick Mahomes can have it for right now, but people are using this dynasty word. We're going to dig into it a little bit later in the show. He doesn't have room to breathe, Patrick Mahomes, here at the top, and not in the NFL and definitely not in the AFC. Lamar Jackson already did something that Patrick Mahomes was not able to do, and that is win a unanimous MVP. I don't know that I would say that Patrick Mahomes at his best is more exciting of a player than I've seen Lamar Jackson be, even just this season. So if Lamar Jackson, who, by the way, they're going to be loaded, this team's going to be loaded going into next year, if they go and do what Patrick Mahomes did, which is win a Super Bowl in his third year, I don't see why not. I would have loved to see the Chiefs and the Ravens fight it out in the AFC Championship. I think we were robbed of that. I would have loved to see those wide receivers against those corners. Marlon Humphrey, we were talking about it before the show, included. I would keep an eye on Lamar Jackson. I feel like he is going to be there breathing down Patrick Mahomes' neck for the next 10 years. Unanimous
MVP. Yeah. I think you've got a lot of people in your corner on that one.
Yeah, love that. At GMFB for that one, if you guys want to chime in on what you guys think. Will the battle between Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson carry the league through the next decade of quarterback rivalries?
Yeah, I mean, they're in the AFC and they're the next coming, but Deshaun Watson's going to have an argument. I'm telling you, this Houston team, Deshaun Watson showed me a lot this year, and if they continue to add pieces, if DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson are together, you cannot just say it's these two teams.
How do you reconcile a 24-0 lead in the playoffs? Because that's the conversation.
I'll tell you how I reconcile it. Because last year the Chiefs were down 14-0 and then were down, in the AFC Championship game, and they found a way to rally around that and get back.
So Mahomes is a superhero, so how's Deshaun ever going to beat him? You know what I mean?
I understand. I feel like this is what motivates you. What are you next, right? And Deshaun Watson, to me, is the third name in that AFC conversation. It's really loaded all over the NFL. But as long as you've got Deshaun Watson at quarterback for the Houston Texans, they're in the conversation for the next coming as well.
By the way, the LeBron thing since junior high, and you don't have that in the NFL, I heard Cooper Manning's kid is killing it.
Arch Manning?
Arch Manning is the guy, right? I mean, that's the guy. Arch Manning apparently is
number
like
one high school quarterback in Louisiana.
That's the guy.
Freshman.
Look out.
Do you think it's Lamar Mahomes, kind of like I was saying, like back and forth?
It could be, but I'm actually on the same page as the table. There's a snake in the grass right now, and it's Kyler Murray.
Really?
And I know that he doesn't have a ton to say, and that's fine. And Arizona maybe is not New York City or the Cowboys. I look at, and we're seeing a pattern here. I can't be a coincidence that Mahomes in his second year, and Lamar in his second year, and Kyler in his second year with Cliff and more weapons and offensive rookie of the year. No one even cares. It's just like it happened, no big deal. I really think a year from now we're going to be talking about Kyler Murray. I believe in his talent. I do.
I also would say keep your eye on the newly reinvented Ryan Tannehill.
Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen.
Where's he playing?
Hold on, the record just stopped.
I know, and I don't know what's going to happen when it comes to the Titans signing him or even signing Derrick Henry. But think about it. This guy took over midway through the year when Vrabel said, I'm going to bench Mariota, and all of a sudden this team took off. So that means he was learning on the fly while trying to get his team into the playoffs. Oh, not to mention, he smacked up Tom Brady and the Patriots in New England, and then smacked up Lamar and the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. So let's not forget a guy who really could be turning his whole career around right in front of us.
There's just no matchup I want more in 2020 than Lamar up against Patrick Mahomes on any level, regular, postseason, super. I want to see it.
We've seen it twice.
I need to see it.
And Mahomes is 2-0.
And to see it again. I need
both
to see
those
it right
games
now.
in Arrowhead.
Yeah.
We'll see. I would just make this point. How quick the NFL turns and how fast our world spins. We haven't mentioned Andrew Luck's name. And I think since the season started, Andrew Luck's name has not been mentioned. That's how fast this thing goes. You step away, you're out of the spotlight, the show goes on. No one has said Andrew Luck's name. And if he had still been playing, there'd be a strong argument that he would be the face of the
Yeah.
NFL. But guess what? You're gone. That's how it goes.
But I heard it was popping on Gronk Beach, though, Peter, right? Gronk's gone, right? How'd Gronk Beach go?
7 hours. Belichick showed up.
Yeah,
What happened?
I saw that.
Belichick showed up to Gronk Beach,
And?
posing for photos in a Bahama t-shirt.
Is that true?
That makes me so happy.